The House will come to order. The pledge today will be led by Jody Wapaya, Community College of Denver.
Good morning. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Kohler, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Becker J, Becker K, Representative K.C. Becker,
Representative Becker excused.
Brown, Buck, Buckner, Carver, Conti, Representative Conti, gotcha, Corum, Representative Corum, Corum, okay, Representative Corum excused, Court, Representative K.C. Becker is present, Danielson, Del Grosso, Dorr, Duran, Esgar, Everett, Representative Everett,
Representative Everett excused.
Fields, Foote, Representative Foote, Monday morning.
Representative Foote excused.
Garnett, yeah. Janal, Hamner, Humphrey, Joshi, Kagan, Klingenschmidt, Kraft-Tharp, Landgraf, Representative Landgraf, Lawrence, Lebsock, Lee, Leonard, Lontine, yeah. Representative Lontine, Lundeen, McCann, Melton, Mitch Bush, Moreno, Navarro, Neville, Nordberg, Pabon, Pedersen, Primavera, Priola, Rankin, Representative Foote is present, Ransom, Rosenthal, Rupe, Ryden, Sane, Salazar, Sias, Singer, Thurlow, Tyler, Van Winkle, Vigil, Willett, Williams, Wilson, Windholz, Winter, Wist, Young. Madam Speaker.
Here. With 63 present, 2 excused, a quorum is present. Representative Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I move that the reading of the Journal of Friday, January 29th be dispensed with and that it be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You have heard the motion that the journal be adopted as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No. Motion carries. Members, we are now moving into announcements and introductions. May I have your attention, please? Announcements and introductions. Are there any announcements and introductions? Representative Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to wait for Representative Pabon as well.
Representative Pabon, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Members, we made this announcement on Friday. I know it was really busy, but tomorrow is not only Orange Day here in the Capitol to celebrate our Super Bowl run on Sunday, but it's also United Orange Day to help collect non-perishable items for the United Orange Food Drive. So please bring a non-perishable item. We are competing, the city and county of Denver and all of Colorado is competing with Carolina to collect the most non-perishable items. We won 2 years ago against Seattle, so please help us win again.
Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. This is an important journey on the way to the Super Bowl. Tomorrow, bring your non-perishable items. We will have a container down here in front so you can easily place your items in there. But again, this is a competition between Denver and Carolina to show who can raise the most awareness and solicit the most amount of donations for food. So food drive tomorrow, wear your orange. Again, we've gotten permission from the Speaker. The Senate will be participating in this as well. So wear your United in Orange colors and bring non-perishable food items so that we can show our support both for the Broncos and for those most in need in our communities.
I wonder if we should change it. I'll give this to them and see, because I think we're going to wear orange for these guys. Yeah, okay. I'll take this down. Are there further announcements and introductions? Representative Pabon. And Representative Pabon, just so you know, and maybe we can make adjustments here very soon, it looks like the former Broncos who were planning to be here on Tuesday are now planning to be here on Wednesday at 9 a.m. So we may want to adjust our plans accordingly. I'll have you folks who make decisions, make them down there somewhere and let us know what you think. So please proceed, Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And, maybe we'll just celebrate the Broncos every day this week, which we probably should anyway. So as we run up to the Super Bowl. I also wanted to announce a legislative reception this evening for the Colorado Technology Association. This is an annual reception that will take place tonight at 5 p.m. at the Warwick Denver Hotel in the Millennial Ballroom. This is an opportunity. Yes.
Would you excuse me for a minute, please? Members, may we have your attention, and perhaps you can repeat the details of this event, because I don't think anybody was listening. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, please proceed. Now, please, may we have silence in the chamber? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, sorry to repeat myself for those of you who are listening attentively the first time, but tonight is the Colorado Technology Association reception at 5 p.m. at the Warwick Hotel in the Millennium Ballroom. This is an opportunity to talk with leading innovators about virtual reality. Some of times we experience that here in this chamber. Autonomous cars, cybersecurity. Representative Rosenthal, listen to this. Drones and unmanned aircraft, robotics, and gaming. So please come tonight to enjoy good camaraderie and food and fun with the Colorado Technology Association, 5 p.m. tonight, Warwick Hotel, Millennium Ballroom. See you there.
Are there further announcements? Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee, we are going to be laying over House Bill 1070 with Representative Neville. He has requested this. And if any of you had any friends who were planning to come down and testify on that bill, please let them know. We are meeting at 1:30 in LSBA, and we will be looking out the window to see how bad the weather gets and be making our decisions as we go along this afternoon. Thank you.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow morning at 7:15, dress in your orange and come down for the Bible study. We're still studying 2 Timothy, so we'd love to have you down there. Good breakfast and good fellowship. Thank you.
Representatives Moreno and Fields.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, it is a very special day at the Capitol. The Family Leadership Training Institute has joined us today for their day at the Capitol. We have guests here on the floor from the Commerce City FLTI, and we have folks here from the Arapahoe County FLTI as well.
Representative Fields.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to give you a little background about what LTI is all about, it is a program that focuses on leadership development through civic engagement. The curriculum integrates personal, child development, leadership training, and civic literacy skills blended together over the course of a 20-week period. So it's a huge commitment that these folks are making. Currently, we have 21 participants from Commerce City, Denver, and Aurora. They have made their commitment to participate in the 2016 cohort program. So please join me in welcoming them here today.
Representatives Moreno and Fields, you can share a $4 fine on that one. Oh, Representative Moreno, you want to add to that?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't want to add to the fine. I just want to add that members, if you're at all concerned about where those marijuana tax funds are going, it's going to a good use because part of the funds are used to fund this program to get people civically engaged. So obviously it's paying off, and thank you so much for being here.
$4.
Okay.
Just once. Representatives Mitch Bush and Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
Please, and also with you.
Thank you. I have one separate quick announcement. I didn't realize Family Leadership Training Institute was going to be here today. For those of you not familiar with FLTI, it is a fantastic organization which really helps people in communities in two ways. One, it trains future leaders, but at the same time, those future leaders have to do a project that helps the community. And up in Eagle County, they're not here today, but up in Eagle County, our FLTI classes for the past 3 years have really made a difference in the community.
Representative Hamner and then Representative.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And as a representative with 8 major ski resorts in my district, I'd like to call down my colleagues with ski resorts in your district so that we can celebrate skiing in Colorado. I don't know if many of you, like me, were waiting for that phone call saying we didn't have to come down to Denver this morning. But that call didn't come, so here we are down at the Capitol while it is snowing like crazy up in the mountains. And Representative Ryden talked about bad weather. Well, you know, when you live in the mountains and have ski resorts in your district, there's no such thing as bad weather. It's all good.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the representative with two major...
Representative Mitch Bush, that's
thank you,
$3.
Madam Speaker. Oh, geez.
Please proceed.
Okay, flagellate. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I do
Yes.
apologize.
Please
As
proceed.
a representative with Vail, like nowhere on earth, Beaver Creek, home of the Birds of Prey Downhill, and Steamboat, a real down-home ski area started by ranchers, I want to let you know about the economic impact of all our ski areas in Colorado. About 10% of Colorado's population skis. Let that sink in. That's 500,000 Coloradans. But more importantly, The ski industry is an economic powerhouse. It generates $4.6 billion of annual economic impact in Colorado. It represents more than 46,000 jobs, and that's just direct. That's not multiplier effect jobs in all our communities that are represented up here. And if we think about out-of-state and international guests who spend more than $300 a person, with more than 50% of that spending outside of the ski areas. Another major plus for our ski areas is that many people come here as tourists and then come back and bring a small business, an IT business, a high-tech business, creating more jobs for Coloradans. So it's time to celebrate our ski areas, not just as the wonderful, fun places they are, but as a major economic engine throughout our state.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'd also like to piggyback on the skiing. If you want to get some great skiing, you know, and not have to stand in lines, and you know, not have to go up I-70. You can fly to Durango and be skiing in about an hour. So just come on down Purgatory. We've got Silverton, we've got Hesperus, Wolf Creek. That's in Representative Vihill's district, but Wolf Creek, we've got some great skiing down there.
Or you can do youth court. Can you do that?
Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And while my colleague, Representative Brown, is at the podium today, we jointly like to welcome the Youth Corps of Colorado here at the Capitol today. We have outstanding youth and a terrific program. It builds leadership, and we're very proud to have you, and thank you for coming.
That's $2, Representative Arndt. Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, if I might have a Representative Pabon silence in the chamber, please. Thank you. Two announcements. One, there's a special deal at Monarch Ski Area. I don't know about the other ski areas, but you can still ski 2 for $74. 2 for $74. Just thought I'd mention that. The other announcement is, it was with great danger and extreme trepidation that Christy and I drove to Denver last night on ice-covered highways transporting 200 hot dogs for the Sportsman's Caucus Thursday at high noon, room 112. See you there.
Representative Rupe and Representative Lee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So here we are, 1 week away from the next Veterans Caucus, members. And this one's about business opportunities and barriers for veterans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Veterans Caucus on Friday was very well attended last week. So if you want to reserve a place and get a good lunch, be sure to do that. This week, the discussion topic will be business opportunities. You all have veterans in your districts, and attending this, you will learn how they can obtain apprenticeships, how they can obtain internships, how they can obtain assistance with doing government contracts. So a lot of good information to help the veterans in your district, as well as a free bologna sandwich. So look forward to having you come.
Representative Rupe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We'll also be talking about wages and how we're paying our veterans as they come into the job network and how they're being reimbursed. So make sure you do your RSVP. Let us know you're coming so we have all the lunches, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For the Agriculture, Livestock, and Natural Resources Committee, listen up, important announcement. We had two bills today. The Coram and Vigil bill for funding of catastrophic wildfires. Representative Coram could not be here today because he couldn't make it over the pass, he close to pass. So I'm going to lay that over till Wednesday. And the Becker bill in 1109, Representative Casey Becker has requested that we lay it over till Wednesday. She has notified her witnesses that they shouldn't be here today, so we'll be hearing that on Wednesday as well. So we will not be meeting today at 1:30 today. So have a good afternoon, but be prepared to work on Wednesday. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Welcome, Representative E. Hill. Further announcements and introductions. Are there further announcements and introductions? Seeing none. Next order of business is general orders, second reading of bills. Representative Lepsak.
Madam Speaker, I move the House now resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders.
You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, Representative Lepsak will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader. The coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of the House Bill 1042.
House Bill 1042 by Representative Arndt, also Senator Sonnenberg, concerning exemption from liquor licensing laws for a brewing program offered by state institution of higher education.
Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 161042 and the Education Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you. This was an amendment that was a friendly amendment that we accepted, and it was unanimous. And what it did was further define the meaning of a student to be a student enrolled in a brewery program. And secondly, it further clarified the bill in saying that the untasted portion of the beer be thrown away upon completion of the tasting.
Is there any other discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, those in favor of the committee report say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. House Bill 161042 allows our 3 institutes of higher education that offer a brewing license to allow students who are enrolled in the brewing program who are 20 years or older to taste their product.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1042. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. House Bill 1042 is passed. Mr. Kohler, would you read the title of House Bill 1025?
House Bill 1025 by Representative Arndt, also Senator Tate, concerning statutory recognition that an insurance policy may be subject to renewal by an admitted insurer within the same insurance group as the insured that insured the insurance policy.
Representative Arndt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move a House Bill 1025. And there is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, sir. This bill expands the definition of renewal or to renew when used with an automobile insurance policy only. To clarify, that policy replaces an expired policy which may be issued by another admitted company within the same insurance group rather than the issue of the original policy. This is a win for consumer protection. It's a win for the insurance companies. Please
Any
vote
discussion? Yes. Representative Neville.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, great bill. I remember back in my days as an insurance agent, when we would move people from different risk groups, they would get a cancellation notice, and it caused a lot of confusion. This cleans that up, so good bill.
Seeing no other discussion, The motion before us is the passage of House Bill 1025. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1025 is passed. Mr. Kohler, please read House Bill 1076.
House Bill 1076 by Representative Hamner, also Senator Tate, concerning the status of a retired architect.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1076 and the report from the Business Committee.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bill was amended in the Business Affairs and Labor Committee to make sure that the architect applying for the retired architect license was currently licensed. Also clarified some language to make it consistent with the licensure procedures, and clarified that we're talking about competence to practice as opposed to continuing education. And I ask for your support of the committee report.
Seeing no discussion on the committee report, the question before us is the passage of the committee report. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, I ask for your support of this bill. It puts in place a process for retired architects to apply for a retired architect license, just like our land surveyors and our engineers can do. During the committee, there was discussion about a possible amendment to waive the age 65 year for applying for the license, but in talking with the Department of Regulatory Agencies, this language would be then inconsistent with how we apply the same program to our surveyors and engineers. And I believe it would take a different bill to make that kind of change if that's something the General Assembly wanted to do. So at this point, I do not intend to introduce an amendment, and I ask for your support of House Bill 1076.
Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I do support this bill and thank Representative Hamner for bringing it. It does remind me of a former colleague that we had down here. I don't know if you're here in the hallway or in spirit, Representative Giroux, but this definitely brings your name to mind. I don't know if Representative Duran thought the same thing or not, but I certainly did. I did want to point out, though, that there is a age limitation in this bill, 65 years old to retire. And I just want to point it out. Again, I support the bill. I think it's a fine concept, but putting these types of age restrictions in statute, I think actually takes us a step backward. And I know that this bill affects more than just, or the change in policy would affect more than just architects. It would affect engineers, land surveyors. But I think it's a worthy conversation to have amongst this body about whether or not these restrictions should be placed in statute. I do support the bill and ask you for an aye vote.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1076. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1076 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1017.
House Bill 1017 by Representatives Pabon and Lawrence, also Senator Cook, concerning appearances before a victim impact panel.
Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move House Bill 1017 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, this is really the heart of the bill. It is essentially putting establishing a fee limit in place of $50 that will be indexed by the Consumer Price Index over the course of time. I'll let Representative Lawrence talk about why we did this, but want to just point out that this did garner us a unanimous vote in committee, as well as from our stakeholders to this group, and so would support, ask for your support for this passage of the Judiciary Committee report.
Representative Lawrence, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this just really set in place a top limit for the fee associated with these victim impact panels. And what we heard from every witness that we had was the benefit of these panels and how important they are. So as Representative Pabon had mentioned, this garnered us unanimous support out of the Judiciary Committee, and I would ask for an aye vote on the committee report.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of the committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The committee report passes. Representative Pabon to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, this is a very important victims' rights bill. This is a very important defendants' rights bill. This is a very important tool in our ability to reduce recidivism of drunk drivers in Colorado. And what this bill does is it essentially allows for the expansion of the Victim Impact Panel Fund that is set up for those who have been convicted of a drunk driving offense that are sentenced to attend such a panel to help them understand the consequences of their behavior and to make sure that they, even if there was not a victim present during that particular incident, that there is a recognition that these are not victimless crimes and that this is important for our public safety, for our victims, and for our defendants, and ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1017. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1017 is passed.
One down.
Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1019. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1019 by one bill.
House Bill 1019 will be laid over one bill. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1002 until Wednesday, February 3rd.
You heard the Majority Leader. House Bill 1002 will be laid over until Wednesday. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1008.
House Bill 1008 by Representatives Winter and Becker J. Also Senators Cook and Heath concerning authorization for the Department of Transportation designating an area on a roadway not otherwise lane for traffic for use by commercial vehicles designed to transport 16 passengers or more that are operated by a governmental entity or government-owned business, transports the general public, or by a contractor on behalf of such an entity or government-owned business.
Representative Winter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am urging a yes vote. This is simply another tool that that CDOT and the Highway Patrol can use to help expand public transit options. This is an extremely safe use of our buses. This happens in 12 other states. The Highway Patrol has deemed it...
Representative Winter, I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you please move the committee report and the bill, and then we'll...
Yes, thank you. It's my first time this year. I forget. I move the committee report 10008 from the Committee of Transportation.
Go ahead, Representative Winter.
And the bill.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee had a great discussion, and we added one amendment that makes it clear that using the bus on the shoulder is at the sole discretion of the driver based on safety issues.
Any other discussion on the committee report? Seeing none. The question before us is the passage of the committee report. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee report passes. Representative Winter, if you could move House Bill 1008.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 10008.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill is simply another tool in our transportation toolbox. It allows buses access to the shoulder at very low speeds in consultation with Highway Patrol when shoulders are specifically engineered for the safety of moving buses on the shoulder. The Federal Transit Agency has deemed safety experience excellent. This happens in 12 other states, and we need as many transportation options in Colorado as possible, and I urge an aye vote.
Any other discussion? Representative Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, as Representative Winter stated, this is a good bill in allowing us to use all of our options to relieve some congestion on the roads. This does right now only go to Highway 36, and I think this is a way to allow buses on the shoulders at a controlled speed. And also, the one thing that I did want to mention is that this does also allow our school districts to use this same thing, which will make sure that our kids are not sitting on the buses in traffic. So I would ask for an aye vote as well. So I have an amendment.
Representative Becker, do you have an amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move HB 1008 L003 and ask that it be displayed.
Please display the amendment.
3.
There you go. L003, the amendment has been properly placed on the screen. Representative Becker, could you explain the amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, in committee, we were discussing whether or not local governments would be at the table with CDOT when we were discussing this. We kind of went back and forth whether or not it was in CDOT's rules. Looking at it, the best way to do it is to go ahead, place it in the bill to make sure that local governments are at the table with CDOT in looking at these projects. We already had that with the 36 project. This is a great amendment that's discussed in committee, and we have wide-range support. I'd ask for an aye vote.
Representative Winter.
I also urge an aye vote on this amendment. It's imperative that when these projects work, local governments are at the table. That is why it has worked along the 36 corridor, and I urge an aye vote on this amendment.
Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of Amendment L003. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Amendment L003 passes. Representative Winter to the bill.
Thank you. This is a good tool, and I urge an aye vote.
Any other discussion? Seeing no, Representative Neville.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I was a no on committee based on the fact that this bill limits it to only government-owned operated buses or government-contracted buses, so a private citizen who runs maybe a charter of 16 passengers or more cannot apply to use the shoulder. And the amendment also that passed in committee that made it so that the bus driver themselves has sole discretion is getting in the middle of private contracts or employer-employee relationships that we don't need to be getting in the middle of. And so for that reason, I urge a no vote.
Representative Klingenschmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I support this bill, not to disagree with my Liberty Caucus fellow member, Representative Neville, but this is a pro-freedom bill because it increases the ability of people to access more lanes of the road without building more lanes of the road. We've always worried about transportation dollars. Well, this is a way for people to get where they want to go faster, to decrease congestion, and it does not cost extra transportation dollars to build those extra lanes of the road. So I urge a yes vote on this bill.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And no, I'm not coming down here just because it's a Becker bill. My concern with this bill has to do with safety on the roadways. The shoulders are used for a pull-off area for emergencies, for people who may have a flat tire, if they get pulled over for speeding, if there's some sort of an emergency. That's why we have the shoulders on the roads. That's my concern about this bill, about our transportation department deciding that rather than building a roadway to the full capacity necessary to move traffic efficiently, that they're going to take a shoulder that was designated for a safety purpose and use that for buses to go in and out of. So for right now, I would urge an aye vote, or urge a no vote on this. I understand where the bill sponsors are coming from, but I just have safety concerns about this.
Okay, Representative. Seeing no other discussion, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1008. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. House Bill 1008 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1019.
House Bill 1019 by Representative Becker Kay, also Senators Jones and Roberts, concerning increased authority to use broadcast burning as a tool to promote watershed restoration.
Representative Casey Becker.
Thank you. I move House Bill 1019 and the Agricultural Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you. The Agricultural Committee adopted the bill with one amendment that just clarified, changed the language from fuel mitigation treatment to fuel reduction treatment, and I ask for an aye vote.
The question before us is the passage of the committee report. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bill just clarifies that the State Forest Service has the authority to do broadcast burns and award grants for that. It's important to highly forested areas that all tools to control fire are used, so I ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no other discussion, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1019. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1019 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1039 until right before House Bill 1084. So House Bill 1039 would be heard on the second reading calendar before House Bill 1084.
Thank you. And so House Bill 1039 will be heard right after House Bill 1044 and before House Bill 1084. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1033.
House Bill 1033 by Representatives McCann and Nordberg, also Senators Cafalas and Newell, concerning the Colorado Human Trafficking Council.
Representative McCann.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1033 and the committee report from the Committee on Health Insurance and Environment.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee report adopted an amendment that added a member of the Judicial Department to the Human Trafficking Council, and ask for an aye vote.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the committee report. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The committee report passes. To the bill, Representative McCann.
Why don't you, Representative Nordberg?
Representative Nordberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this just adds, as human trafficking continues to be an issue, we have a statewide council, and human trafficking, unfortunately, is something that reaches every corner of this state. And to the extent that giving reimbursements to this council so they can travel to Denver and meet frequently to provide us recommendations and best practice moving forward, that's a good investment, and that's something we need to do. So it does that component, as well as adds an appointment for the judicial branch so that they'll also have some feedback and buy-in as to how we best tackle this issue. And I would ask for a yes vote.
Seeing no more discussion on House Bill 1033, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1033. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. House Bill 1033 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1046.
House Bill 1046 by Representative Kraft Tharp, also Senator Baumgartner, concerning the response to hazardous substance incidents under designated emergency response authority responsibility.
Representative Kraft Tharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, there is no committee report, so I move House Bill 1046.
To the bill.
Thank you. So, members, I'm proud to bring you House Bill 1046 that I believe reduces the cost of emergency responses, allows for faster responses, shorter road closures, and safer emergency responses to hazardous substance incidents on our Colorado roads and highways. This bill accomplishes this in 3 ways. It requires towns, cities, and counties to report the name of their emergency response authority to the Colorado State Patrol, tightens the definition of emergency responses, and third, it allows for contractual agreements with private entities with supervision of the emergency response. Members, I urge an aye vote on this bill. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1046. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. House
Okay.
Bill 1046 is passed.
Thank you.
Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1011.
House Bill 1011 by Representative Vigil, also Senators Garcia and Grantham, concerning the removal of restrictions on the authority of a board of metropolitan district to provide activities in support of business development within the district.
Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1011, and there is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1011 is really a good bill for business, a good bill for helping metropolitan area, metro districts grow. Really, all it does, it just takes the cap off of a metro district that, or the board of metro district people, folks that can solicit more businesses for their communities. And so that's what this does. It removes the cap, and so they can go out like after an IBM or after Martin Marietta or something like that. But as it is right now, they can't even have that conversation. And so what this does, it says, you know, we have some tools we can work with now. We can reach out to those folks, have the conversation with them, and have them decide if they want to come to us. But at least they can reach out, and they can't do that now. So that's what this bill does. And I'll answer any questions if anybody has any further questions for that.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1011. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1011 is passed. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1069.
House Bill 1069 by Representatives Rankin and Moreno, concerning the ability of a city's governing body to determine the length of terms for its housing authority commissioners.
Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1069.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this is simply a local control proposal that allows cities to set their own terms of their housing authority commissioners. Right now in statute, we dictate that term to be 5 years. However, you know, they've had trouble seeking and soliciting housing authority commissioners, and really, you know, most city council folks serve for a term of 4 years. So we're asking housing authority commissioners to serve a longer term than even most city council members. So this will just let those local governments set the terms of their own housing authority commissioners. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Rankin.
Good bill. Vote yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1069. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1069 is passed. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1044.
House Bill 1044 by Representative Becker J., also Senator Hill, concerning the extension of dates related to the Petroleum Storage Tank Fund.
Representative Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1044.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this is just the extension of the Petroleum Storage Tank Fund. This is not adding anything. I know if you look at the fiscal note, it looks like it is maybe adding some employees. It's actually not. This is a continuation of this fund. This fund is driven by the actual industry. It is a award-winning fund, actually, and a lot of other states look towards our fund and actually to model theirs and to look at what's going on with theirs. This is we're renewing it a little bit early, but that's important for the assurity of the people that clean up these spills and things like that so that they have and know the money is there to clean up these spills as they go forward. I'd ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, I didn't fully understand the extent of this bill in committee, and I voted no. I've now had a chance to speak with stakeholders involving this bill. I think what Representative Becker J. said is correct. It's an important bill for industry to clean up these spills, to extend the program itself. And so I am going to be supporting this bill, and I will be a yes vote and ask for your encouragement as well.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1044. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1044 is passed. Representative Moreno will take the chair for 3 bills.
Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1039.
House Bill 1039 by Representatives Mitch Bush and Rankin, also Senators Todd and Donovan, concerning a requirement that non-commercial motor vehicles be appropriately equipped when driving on the Interstate 70 mountain corridor during winter storm conditions.
Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move House Bill 1039 and the Transportation Committee report.
To the Transportation Committee report, Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Transportation Committee voted 9-4 to pass this bill with 2 amendments. The first one is neither the intent nor the effect of this bill will be to create tire checkpoints, wherein each driver will be stopped to determine whether motor vehicle's equipment meets the requirements of Section 424(106). This is to make sure that it is understood that there are no checkpoints involved with this bill. The second amendment in the Transportation Committee that came out 9-4 was to substitute milepost 259 Morrison between October 1st to May 15th. 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago now, actually, golly, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, this body and the other body passed a bill which clarified rules for truckers. What this amendment in committee is trying to do is harmonize the existing rules for truckers, which are date certain and mile marker certain, with the rules that this bill proposes for passenger vehicles for safety. I would urge an aye vote on the Transportation Committee report.
Is there further discussion on the Transportation Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Transportation Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Transportation Committee report passes. To the bill.
You want to go?
Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I've been told that we don't need this bill, that the current Code 1517 on the highways is adequate. It is not. We've been told, and we've had excellent testimony with no testimony against this bill. We've had testimony from the Colorado Department of Transportation, the Colorado Safety Patrol, a coalition of 52 businesses along the I-70 corridor, the Colorado Motor Carriers, the Colorado-Wyoming Petroleum Marketers, the Denver Metro Chamber, who, by the way, is not along I-70, the C3 Coalition, the Colorado Hotel and Lodging Association, the Colorado Restaurant Association, Vail Resorts, Colorado Ski Country USA, the Vail Police Chief, representing police chiefs along the entire corridor, and Eagle County paramedics, who have a heck of a time transporting people on I-70. All of these people testified strongly in favor of the bill. Every editorial newspaper on the Western Slope has asked for the bill. Every pseudo-government and government district on the West Slope has asked for the bill. There's no opposition to the bill except the fact that it might not be necessary. It is necessary. I believe the experts, the Colorado Patrol and CDOT, who tell me that this will add significantly to the training and education leading up to the times when they declare a Code 15 on this highway. We've worked, Representative Ms. Bush primarily has worked with stakeholders over a 2-year period to develop a bill that will significantly impact the tie-ups in traffic. Actually, I thought today, I was a little worried. I thought I might be presenting this bill alone because Representative Ms. Bush had to navigate this over about a 6-hour period yesterday to get back on the highway. I didn't go home because this bill doesn't exist on the weekend. So thank you very much. Appreciate your vote on this very important bill to the economy and safety along I-70.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Rankin. This bill is about economic competitiveness and especially about public safety. In committee, we heard from a wide variety of groups. We heard from the Colorado State Patrol and CDOT about why this bill is needed. So why is it needed? Right now under current statute, you, I, any of us who head up I-70, not knowing what Code 15 is, and setting on out blithely to go up to the mountains for whatever reason, business or pleasure, if the weather deteriorates and a Code 15 is called, now, under current statute, you, I, and all our constituents could be liable if we cause an accident that is determined to be due to inadequate traction for a $160 fine. If we cause an accident due to inadequate traction right now under current statute, when a Code 15 has been called, we can pay over $500 in fines. Those fines are there. The problem is that most motorists are not aware of them. It takes time for a Code 15 to be called, sometimes up to an hour after conditions have deteriorated such that cars are sliding all over the road and pose grave public safety dangers. What this bill does is the same thing that was done 15 years ago for truckers. Truckers had the same problem. For them, it was Code 17 and 18, and they didn't know. Do I have to have chains? Don't I have to have chains? When do I have to have chains? I'm clueless. The bill in 2009 clarified that date certain, mile marker certain, truckers needed to carry chains. This bill clarifies mile marker certain, date certain, motorists have to have either adequate tires as currently defined in statute, or chains or alternative traction devices. This will enable CDOT to proactively educate. As State Trooper Dave Hall said, our goal is to prevent accidents, and right now we can't. He said it takes the guessing out. But more importantly, as Representative Rankin said, we have a wide coalition from all over the state of business and business groups. The Denver Metro Chamber named this problem as one of the top 5 economic problems in the state. Colorado Competitiveness Council supported this bill and testified strongly in favor. All these other business groups testified in favor. But for me, the most moving testimony came from the last 2 witnesses. Vail Chief of Police Dwight Henninger recounted that the only time a Vail police officer has died in the line of duty is in one of these instances. He was hit while he was out trying to help people. Chris Montera, who is the head of the Eagle County Paramedics and Ambulances, testified that not only have ambulances been hit, but that also he had the experience of trying to transport a critically ill patient to Denver. Remember, in these conditions, you can't fly flight for life. Helicopters don't fly. It took him over 6 hours to get that patient to Denver. Luckily, the patient lived. This is about public safety. I would urge, and I vote. Thank you.
Further discussion. Representative Neville.
So members, I have a friend who actually operates a fleet of plow trucks. And on his fleet of plow trucks, he has large lugged tires. Those same tires that he does that uses for snow plowing are currently not good enough the way this law is written. For me, this comes down to personal responsibility and the person being able to make that decision themselves. I don't think that criminalization is a way to educate. Thank you.
Representative Rankin.
What we're actually talking about is being prepared. I went on to the web and checked Walmart. A set of chains costs $25. You buy a $25 set of chains and you put them in your trunk, and if you happen to incur unexpected conditions, which happens almost every time on I-70, you have those chains with you. You avoid a fine, you avoid tying up traffic for 9 or 10 hours. That's what this is. It's be prepared. It doesn't require that you go out and buy fantastic new tires. It's a $25 set of chains.
Representative Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I voted against the bill in committee, and I voted against it last year. And if you look at this, I understand, and I understand traffic in the mountain communities is tough. And I understand that we need to educate the population as we move forward. That is an important part of making sure that we're safe on the roads in the mountains. The problem is we're a huge tourist state. So just educating the state of Colorado, I don't think solves your problem. This also does not allow for checkpoints, so really it doesn't do much beyond what we've had already, what we've already had on the books. And I'll tell you, I've been driving back and forth from Fort Morgan to here, the Great Eastern Plains. And if you want to get out of traffic, come to the Great Eastern Plains. But I'll tell you that listening to 850 KOA, I counted this morning as I was driving in our great weather here this morning, 5 times on 850 KOA, they said, if you're driving in the mountains, have good tires and chains. So again, if this is to educate the public, we're already doing that. What I think this does is just add another level of fines or what the State Patrol can do. I know for my mountain people here that are smiling at me, I'd love to do everything that I possibly could. But remember, we have tourists coming that aren't going to hear those messages. And we're already doing it on the radio stations and trying to market this and tell them that they need to be safe. Thank you.
Representative Rankin.
Gosh, I'm trying to avoid calling Representative Becker a flatlander.
Well, if that's the only thing you call me, we're all right.
We're talking about Eisenhower Tunnel, Vail Pass. These are really different kinds of driving, and it's very changeable. It can change in 10 minutes and long before Code 15 is ever called. And to the other point of education, sure, people hear this on the radio, but listen, I trust the professionals. I've got the Highway Patrol and CDOT and everybody else telling me that people go up in those mountains who are unprepared. Maybe they're kids from going to school here and go skiing on the weekend. Maybe they're people who just moved here. Predominantly, the traffic is not tourism. It's people from Denver going skiing. And it's a $25 set of change. By the way, on tourism, rental companies are compliant, so that's not an issue.
Is there further discussion? Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 2 clarifications, and I thank you, Representative Becker, for your comments. If you listen carefully to current radio or carefully read current CDOT emails, they never say because they can't, are required, or you must. They say it's a good idea. You should know, be aware. Why do they use that kind of slippery language? Because they can't say must until after a Code 15 is called. Number 2, the tourism issue. Every tourism organization in the mountains and in the Front Range strongly support this bill. C3, Colorado Competitive Council, the Denver Metro Chamber, all the chambers in my district, the Vail Valley Partnership, the Steamboat Springs Chamber, chambers in other mountain areas, all support this. If this were a problem for tourists, they would most likely not support it, as do the Colorado Hotel and Lodging Association, as does the Colorado Restaurant Association, as does Ski Country USA, as does Vail Resorts. Again, I urge an aye vote.
Representative Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Folks, I do know about this problem, having spent 7 hours yesterday coming over I-70, having skied my whole life, being a Western Slope guy. I also understand the liberty argument. It seems to me in this modern time, the vast majority of vehicles are all-wheel drive SUVs or all-wheel drive cars or front-wheel drive cars. We can't expect everyone to be able to buy that kind of a car, but the fact is that's what 90% of them are, my guess. The real problem is a rear-wheel drive car with inadequate traction. If I had a rear-wheel drive car and that's all I had, whether it was a sports car or I just couldn't afford anything, I had an old car, I don't think it's too much to ask to have $25 worth of chains. I think this issue is being overstated a little in terms of its practical import. It seems to me if the bill were amended to allow front-wheel drive cars with good traction, all-wheel drive cars and SUVs are already exempt. Really what we would get to are the rear-wheel drive cars with inadequate traction. They're the real problem. I think everyone else does an adequate job in the mountains. So I would reserve my judgment on this bill until we can see if we can't narrow it down a little bit. Thank you for listening.
Representative Sane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if I hear from Representative Rankin correctly, it's the people from Denver causing the problem. So if they have a Denver license plate, they should have chains. I'm going to argue for Denver that, you know, it's about tourism, and I don't think we should do that to educate the people of Denver driving through the mountains. So I'm going to stand up for Denver today and say, let's vote no on this bill.
Representative Rankin.
Let me just remind you, Representative Zane, the Denver Metro Chamber strongly supports this bill. And by the way, front-wheel drive with proper treads are compliant in accordance with the bill.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I would remind my colleagues, and thank you, Representative Willett, for your comments, that all-wheel drive front-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, with tires with 4/32 of an inch are compliant. That is current statute. That is not in this bill. It is current statute under Code 15. Your rear wheel example, if they had good tires and weight in the trunk, maybe they could get there. But if they didn't, they could have chains, which at my last check last weekend, you can get for $29.95.
Representative Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for that clarification. With that clarification, I'm behind the bill, and I do want to rebut a couple of ideas. While my heart goes out to tourism, there are laws all over the nation that are specific to a particular region. And when we're in other states, we may not know about flooding in low areas. And if you go in there and your car stalls, you can get a fine. You are charged with the knowledge of the law. So I am not particularly persuaded by the tourists. Furthermore, most tourists rent cars, and they're all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive in Colorado anymore. Anyway, the real problem is the old beater car that's rear-wheel drive without traction, or a super sports car. The really high-end sports cars are still rear-wheel drive, and you shouldn't be in the mountains driving a low-profile sports car with rear-wheel drive. It's just a safety issue. The other point that I would make against my fellow Liberty people is safety is not a bad thing. If we require working taillights, if we require working blinkers, if we require certain things to protect our families and children in the state, why in the world wouldn't we require good traction on rear-wheel cars when death and delays can happen? Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And colleagues, I stand in very strong support of this bill. It's time to get this done. We need to give our CDOT and our State Patrol all the tools that they possibly can use to keep I-70 moving safely. Earlier today we were celebrating all the snow in our ski resorts. The worst possible thing we can have is an accident on I-70 that stalls the traffic, causing injury, and delaying the opportunity for our guests to either get up to the mountains or get home from the mountains. So please, please, please support this bill. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Representative Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think in this building, we often, too many times, try to legislate common sense. This is just a common sense thing that you need to do. If you have bad tires or something, you do everything in your power to actually do something. Now, here's my concern so far. So since we've had this discussion, the price of chains have gone from $25 to $29.99. So maybe by the end of this discussion, they'll keep on going up and up and up. And you're thinking I'm making a joke here, but actually, I'm making a serious point. What about the person that just does not have the money, that actually has a job at, let's say, Bojo's in Idaho Springs, and they commute from West Denver, and this might be feeding their kids for a day? What about the people that can't afford it? So I think we need to take into consideration the lower income people, and I think we should urge a no vote on this bill.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Everett. Like you, I am very concerned with our moderate to low-income workers who work at minimum wage, 2, 3, and sometimes in my district, 4 jobs. That means they have to commute over Vail Pass. That means they have to commute over Eisenhower Tunnel. Those folks, and I know them, they are my people. They may have a ratty old pickup or a ratty old car, but they either have really good tires or they have chains and they know how to put them on. Remember, if they're stuck in that traffic, even for 2 hours, those 2 hours of lost wages mean all the world to them and their family, and they could well get fired. Thank you.
Representative Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Representative Mitch Bush. And that's my point. I mean, obviously, people are already solving the problem. So, I mean, obviously, this is a solution in search of a problem. So why are we running this bill?
Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, Representative Everett, we're running the bill because everybody who's the professionals who've been monitoring this for many years look at what happened when we passed a similar bill for truckers. It dramatically decreased the number of accidents caused by truckers. We're running the bill because it is cost effective to create, and it is true that I checked Walmart last year, and Representative Ms. Bush and Truth in Advertising checked again, and the price has gone up to $29.95. So it is a cost effective way to dramatically improve safety, dramatically improve the economic drivers of the ski industry. And I've had folks in my own district criticize me for this bill, saying you're forcing me to buy tires. There's a lot of misunderstanding about it. It really is a very cost-effective way to make a big dent in a big problem.
Representative Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm going on about 37 years living here in the state of Colorado. We haven't had this law in the books for 37 years. I-70's still been functioning. So again, why do we need this bill? All of a sudden, just magically this appears that we need this bill. But again, you know, we've been able to function on I-70 for a number of years without legislation. So again, I would urge a no vote and not legislate common sense.
Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That brought me up here. I don't imagine there's a person in this building that thinks that I-70 is actually functioning. I've been sitting in traffic, and I don't live there. I live the opposite direction, but I've had occasion to go up there and sit in traffic on my way home for hours. And I can tell you one thing about that. There are no bathrooms on the side of the road. It is not fun. It's hurting our ski areas. It's hurting people who have to get back home. I've talked to people who are just not going anymore because they just can't get there, and it's not worth the hassle. So if this helps, so be it.
Further discussion. Representative Sane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just a public service announcement. Us Flatlanders also experience some traffic accidents, and we find a lot of times it's caused by operators of four-wheel drives who drive too fast. Four-wheel drive is not four-wheel stop. And that's just common sense. So I would say from just a common sense standpoint, that's also why I'll continue to vote no on this bill despite the good intentions, because there's just more than one factor causing these accidents. Thank you.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1039. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No? No. House Bill 1039 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1084.
House Bill 1084 by Representative Lebsack, also Senator Holbert, concerning modification of the exemption from the Colorado Liquor Code for home brewers to permit an adult other than the head of the family to engage in home brewing activities for personal use without obtaining a liquor license.
Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1084.
To the bill, Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, this is a common sense, straightforward bill that, for the most part, removes antiquated old language in statute that we need to do from time to time. And specifically, this bill removes the words head of family and inserts the word, in place of head of family, the word adult. And I ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1084? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1084. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. House Bill 1084 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to House Bill 1041.
House Bill 1041 by Representative Lebsack, also Senator Holbert, concerning the removal of unreasonably impracticable financial requirements applicable to marijuana businesses that are required to be licensed.
Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1041.
To the bill, Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Mr. Chair and members of the House, this is a pro-business bill. We're going to remove the requirement to have a bond for certain businesses, and it's unreasonable and impracticable regulation and statute now, and we're going to remove that and make sure that we we have a bill here and we have statutes that create a solid environment and pro-business environment for our businesses here in Colorado.
Representative Klingenschmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for the bill sponsor, Representative Lebsack. I understand, Amendment 64, I think, has legalized retail marijuana, but it's still illegal federally. Is there a requirement, if some of these retailers were to be prosecuted for some kind of federal crime, wouldn't it be helpful to have a bond in place, or what is the purpose of this bond in the first place?
Representative Lebsack.
Just to be absolutely blunt, there's not a good reason to have the bond. And I'll remind the folks here, we passed this bill unanimous out of the Business Committee. there's other businesses that do not have this requirement, and so Amendment 64 actually specifically states in it that there can't be anything unreasonable and practicable in our statutes. And it really doesn't make any sense to do that, to be honest with you. And so I hope that answers your question. But there's really no reason to have a bond because the Department of Revenue has other ways where they can collect on unpaid taxes.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was in the Business Committee. We heard the extensive testimony on this bill. The only reason for the bond initially was to secure the collection of principally sales taxes from marijuana dealers. According to the testimony, that had never been done before to any of the other liquor dealers, anybody like that. They do not need a bond in order to be in the liquor business, and there are ways to collect the taxes. So it was a totally unnecessary deal to begin with, and then what happened was originally the marijuana vendors were able to secure the bonds. Well, recently I believe there's been a court decision, or a court filing anyway, that pointed out to all the people that sell bonds that marijuana was illegal in the federal laws, and so they all dropped out of the market. They do not sell bonds in Colorado anymore, so all the marijuana dealers are unable to secure a bond to in any case. They just can't get it. So if the bill stays in effect, they won't be able to conduct business. So I voted for it in committee, and I'd vote for it on the floor. I urge an aye vote.
Representative Garnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I just want to commend the sponsor, Representative Lebsack, for bringing this forward, because not only does it deal with the bonding issues facing the retail marijuana industry, but it also with the medical marijuana industry, and it covers the excise tax. I think what we heard, following up on what Representative Thurlow had to say, were that two issuers who were issuing these bonds are facing lawsuits due to the federal prohibitions of marijuana, which are obviously gumming up the market. And there are regulatory steps that can be taken other than the bonding issue if taxes aren't paid. So thanks again, Representative Lebsack, for bringing this forward. I think this is a very needed bill.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1041. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1041 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to House Bill 1013.
House Bill 1013 by Representative Garnett, also Senator Marble, concerning authorizing school districts to purchase crime insurance coverage in lieu of surety bonds.
Representative Garnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1013.
To the bill, Representative Garnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this is another surety bond bill, but this is essentially providing more flexibility to our school districts. Under current law, surety bonds are required for certain school board members and school district employees who are likely to handle school district funds of $50 or more. What this does is just provides flexibility for the school district instead of providing surety bonds for individual employees to get criminal insurance, a blanket policy to cover more than just one or two employees. It provides flexibility. It, in many cases, could save the school district's money, and I urge an aye vote.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1013. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. House Bill 1013 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Majority Leader. I move the committee rise and report.
Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Kohler, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, Committee of the Whole begs that the report is under consideration. Following attached bills being second reading, their vote makes following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1008 amended, 1011, 1013, 1017 amended, 1019 amended, 1025, 1033 amended, 1039 amended, 1041, 1042 amended, 1044, 1046, 1069, 1076 amended, 1084 passed on second reading in order to go to place the calendar for third and final passage. House Bill 1002 laid over until February 3rd, retaining its place on the calendar.
Representative Lebsack.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House adopts the committee.
You have heard the motion, and there are no amendments. The question before the House is the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members proceed to vote. Representatives Rankin and Del Grosso. Close the machine. With 64 ayes, no noes, and 1 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is passed. Announcements and introductions. Oh, we have a resolution, don't we? Are we doing a resolution?
I'm going to lay it over.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow, February 2nd, 2016.
The motion is to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow, February 2nd. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Now we're to announcements and introductions. Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for all of your participation on Military Appreciation Day on Friday. All those who helped sponsor resolutions and those who spoke. There were some really eloquent stories that were told down here in the well, and I think everyone really appreciated it, and we received many compliments from the veterans and others who attended, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Ryden. Representative Kagan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the House Judiciary Committee, we will not be hearing House Bill 1027 tomorrow. That's Representative Danielson's bill concerning criminal depositions for at-risk persons. But we will be hearing it 1 week beyond tomorrow, which I guess is the 9th of February. House Bill 1027, delayed by 1 week.
Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For members of the Agriculture, Livestock, Natural Resources Committee, we will not meet today. I just wanted to make sure that anybody not heard. We'll be hearing the bills that we're supposed to hear today on Wednesday. So we'll do some work on Wednesday, but because Representative Corn was excused due to weather, and Representative Becker's KC asked that the pair bill be delayed over till Wednesday. So we will not meet today, but we will work on Wednesday. That's the 3rd. So thank you.
Representative Priola.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, if you're hungry in the next couple of days, or actually the next month, I have dollar candy bars on my file cabinet for my son's baseball fundraiser. So buy early, buy often, and just leave $1 in the coffee cup next to the box. Thank you.
The Speaker has a couple of announcements. Representative Leonard will replace Representative Kaiser as the prime sponsor of House Bill 1035, and Representative Singer is added as co-prime sponsor on Senate Bill 39. Are there further announcements and introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m.
The motion is to stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m. Seeing no objection, so ordered.